Alrighty, it is the day before the race. It is now the 17th of December, 2021. Tomorrow is the Cape Point Challenge. A couple things have happened this week which are interesting. I'm going to talk through it. So originally I was thinking maybe I'd do a little bit of a review of my training going into the race and maybe talk about it, but now I've actually decided I'm going to do it afterwards, but I will share some thoughts that I've had just this week and just kind of my mental state going into the race. So first things first, big thing about the race is that due to the conditions, there's a lot of swell in the bay right now. I think it's predicted to be about 4 meters at Cape Point with a pretty strong southeasterly wind. So it's east-southeast, which is quite east for a Cape Point, that they've decided instead of going around the point and instead of going inside the bay to the point, we're going to do laps from Simonstown to Millers and back. So we're going to do 3 laps, leaving Long Beach in Simonstown to Millers, back to Simonstown, back to Millers, back to Simonstown, back to Millers, and then to Fish Hoek. I've never done the lap circuit before. I've only ever done an in the bay and then around the point. So it's interesting, but I do know that stretch of water quite well. So when I first heard about this, I was a little bit upset. I was like, I was really looking to go around the point. But the more I thought about, the more I think it actually favors me. It actually favors basically like a mental space of just getting into the grind. I know how far it is. I know the distance. I know when to push. I know when not to push. And hopefully that's going to enable me to really conserve it, because I think practically one of the big things I've come to realize is that I didn't train as well in this block as that I imagined I would when I first thought about it, which I think is just because when I first thought about it, obviously imagined everything going phenomenally smoothly, no hiccups, it's just going to be great. And that wasn't the reality. I ended up getting sick, ended up making poor decisions at key moments that didn't let me really do as much, and I'll get into the details a little bit later. But all in all, it's basically like I've come to the position where I know I'm going to finish Cape Point. That's not really the point. And I think once you've done your first one, it's never really a thing of, oh, am I going to finish? So I'm not stressed about finishing. My original goal of top 25, the reality is with the training that I've done, I don't think I deserve a top 25, if that makes sense. I don't think the amount of training I've done, with the consistency I've done it, and how I have been approaching training, it's not really worthy of doing well. And so I'm kind of like, yeah, like if I don't, that's kind of what I'm expecting. So it's more just to go out and just do it. I think I've done well in the sense of I've done a good recording, I've done good data collection, I've done all these kind of things. I think the areas I missed out was just that I would say I'm probably about 65 to 75% happy with how this training has gone. And if I wanted to do top 25, I would believe I would be needing to do about a 90% satisfaction with my training. So that's kind of where I am in my head with the satisfaction of training. That also just could be a lot of things, but that means that I'm quite satisfied to just finish it. And I think that's really good. I think coming to a place where I'm not going into the race to win it, which is obvious. And I don't know why I need to say it out loud, but it's like a thing in my head. It's like, Luke, you're not going to the race to try win the race or the category or anything. You're going there after a consistent amount of training to just do it. And I think getting to a position where I can stop thinking about necessarily winning versus just enjoying it is going to be interesting. I don't know if I'm there entirely. I don't know if the idea of not doing the best I'm absolutely capable of is satisfying, but I am aware that I'm doing the best. I will be doing the best I'm capable of right now. And I think that's fine. I think I can live with that. But it's still like I'm like 65% stoked, you know? And I'm excited to just get on the water and do it. And I'm hoping maybe there's something great happens, but you never know with the ocean and things like that. So, you know, it's kind of just like, I'm happy, I'm not disappointed, but I'm not unbelievably excited. You know, I'm not, wow, you absolutely killed this training block, you did phenomenally well. So I think there's a lot of notes, and I'll definitely in the review of the training, I think I'll get into that in a little bit more detail. But The strategy for the race is going to be, because of the swell and because of the wind and all that kind of thing, there's a few places in the race where it's going to get quite gnarly. And I thought it was going to be from, there's a rock, or there's a set of rocks, 2 millers. I thought that was going to be the most hectic, but actually, I'm letting you on race secrets. So listen, if you're paddling Cape Point tomorrow, you shouldn't watch this video. But or 5 of you or whatever. But what is, because of the swell, it's actually going to be more hectic going from the harbour wall. So obviously, as you can imagine, water hits a wall and then it goes back, and so that creates a lot of turmoil. So actually, that's going to be the most hectic, like, call it a 1.2 kilometer stretch. We'll be dealing with the rebound off the wall of the harbour wall, which I hadn't considered prior. But it's going to be about just conserving myself, getting myself onto a bunch. You know, the fact that it's a lap thing means that you're kind of constantly going to be seeing the similar people. So because I'm going to be, I'm H batch, which is the batch before the fastest group. So it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and then whatever, A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I. Listen, I'm dyslexic, so I don't know what the alphabet is, but it doesn't matter. So it's going to be quite nice for me, I think, because I'm kind of constantly going to be catching a group in front, which means there's going to be slip to work onto, and then slip to work onto. So I'm actually very pleased with that, because in my head, I usually do my best when there's kind of a line to follow. There's like a, you know, oh, that's where you need to get to next. Okay, well, no, that's where you need to get to next. And that kind of like race mentality. But it's also going to be very important for me to conserve, because I am notorious for dying in the first 20 kilometers of anything. I mean, I usually die in the first 40% of a race. Like, that's standard. The longer the race is, the longer it takes me, but I always blow in like 40%. And so the goal for me more than anything is to actually do this like a long distance race, actually do this like I'm paddling 50 kilometers, and just sit there and sit through it. Now, as I mentioned last week, I'm dropping my paddles from B maxes to B mins, and a great thing happened. Did a downwind yesterday, and I did my PB downwind time. So I did the fastest downwind I've ever done, using the smaller blades, and I was spinning. So if you know what spinning is, basically when your cadence goes really, really high. I'm like boom, 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 instead of like boom, 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 like going really quickly. Which I'm quite stoked about. It means that I've got the strength. It means that I've got the fitness. I've got all that kind of thing. So I'm happy with where I'm at. I would have preferred to be doing sub 40s, but I did a 40, like 40, 30 or whatever. I honestly think I did a sub 40, but I started my watch at the Northern Slipway, because we paddled from the Northern Slipway to the Rock and then went. So in my heart, I feel like I had a sub 40 on the clock if I had only known, but I didn't know, so I wasn't really gunning it. And then there was this 800 meter gap where I missed 2 runs and then got swamped and then didn't really go again. So I'm a little bit beat up about it, but it's the nature of the game and that's how it happens. But all in all, I'm feeling strong, I'm feeling good. One thing, however, is that my piriformis muscle, now if you don't know what a piriformis muscle is basically in your gluteus maximus, or your ass, there's made up of like 3 different muscles, and one of them wraps around your hips. I believe I'm correct with that. But it's been so tight on both sides, and I've been trying to like roll it out, but it feels so bruised. So there's a big part of me that's really nervous of like, oh, my hip's gonna lock up. Am I gonna get like hectic bad cramps? I'm gonna get an ab leg. So I'm a little bit stressed about that, but the reality is there's nothing I can do. I'm just gonna get on the water and paddle tomorrow. And yeah, it's looking like a very exciting race. It's looking like an interesting one. It's one that it's a route that I know. Yeah, it's gonna be like I am actually very excited to just get on the water and paddle. It's my first paddling race in like 2 years. So yeah, and another thing is that, again, coming back to the fact that I've been recording these, I'm phenomenally excited to set the new kind of thing, because I like this, I like what I'm doing here, and there's been a very big personal discovery, personal discovery journey, whatever you want to call it. Growing up, I guess, is a better way to say it, is that like, understanding that, you know, if you want to do one thing, it means you can't do another thing. And a part of me, especially with this, is that I was doing really, really well with my training, and one of the big stumbling blocks was when I did quite well, I was like proud of it. And so instead of being proud and being happy with that, I was like, oh, I should celebrate the fact that I've done well. And celebrating usually takes the form of going for a drink or going out, or having bad night's sleep because I'm staying up later to play video games, or just slightly poor decisions which make the next day slightly harder. And so I take the next day off, and then once I've taken a day off, I'm kind of like, you know, I kind of deserve another day off, and then I take a second day off, and then it's like 2 days down, and then already that's kind of messed with my head, and that's kind of messed with the thing. And then, so I found that very marginal, like it's very marginal, but like it's not like, oh my word, I don't want to train or anything like that. It's just slightly not good enough, which just gets in my head and then like makes me get down. So that's one just point of fact, but get into that in the review and when we go through the weeks and all that kind of thing. But yeah, otherwise I'm excited. We're paddling with Oros. I've got a couple of glucose, just like very diluted Oros, and then some glucose little goos or whatever. Don't really want to take them too much because I tend to crash if I take a goo. But yeah, charging my Garmin, got my stickers on my boat. I'm worried, like I thought I'd be a tough guy and do my own stickers or whatever. I absolutely egged it. There's bubbles everywhere. It's terrible, but hey, you know, it is what it is. So yeah, anyway, I'm very excited. I don't think I'm gonna get a lot of sleep tonight because I always get anxious before a race. Last night I didn't get any sleep, just because I'm excited. So I did sleep today. So yeah, I'm gonna be rested, keep hydrated, eat a lot of sweet potatoes because it's a superfood or whatever. But yeah, I'm feeling excited. Yeah, I'll let you know how it goes, and then do a review of the week, and then maybe train for something else in the future or whatever. But yeah, awesome. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of the journey, and yeah, have a good day, week, year in life, and I'll check you after the race. Cheers.